Good evening. Rolling over to X because I waited long enough. I tried doing some side videos, some bonus material, this, that, and the other, and it just never worked out. It's been long enough. I wanted to address it this way. I found this video the other day, I think yesterday, today.
Talk about the
And
interview.
we're gonna. I didn't watch the whole thing yet, but I saw enough. Let's say headlines and media manipulation. I thought we'd go this way first.
Hi, I had to come on here today to talk about the interview that Elon Musk had with President Donald Trump last night. When I got on X this morning, I saw all of these negative headlines from our media about how bad the interview was. Now, if you didn't listen to the interview, you would think that Donald Trump said he was going to do something to everybody in the world. Let me tell you what it was. I sat there, and I normally don't listen to speeches or interviews, but I sat there and I listened to the entire thing, and it was really quite amazing. And I would implore any politician to say the same thing. If you want people to vote for you, then you need to address issues that are important to people. And so instead of the Democrat Party constantly bashing Donald Trump, you know what they need to do? This is what I say to them. You say the same things. You address the same issues. You address inflation. You address the war. You address freedom of speech that you guys are trying so hard to remove from.
It's pretty quiet. I didn't realize it was that quiet. I guess my speakers were louder than my headphones. I can't tell, but I can see the signal. I got it jacked all the way up right now. And I also don't know if the new update changed any of my. Sometimes it removes my microphone, puts another one. It does stuff. I'm not techie enough to know. Hopefully you can hear this. Ange and I listened to the whole thing. And I peppered it into reactions there, but since it's been a month and we watched, we had that speech on live at the bar, so we watched that whole thing go down. It happened. Grazing wound. I'm not saying it was that traumatic, but obviously I believe he was supposed to get done in, and then they were going to celebrate and attack their enemies all with that act. And we got past it, moved on. I'm not really. God, I hope I just pulling for humanity. But at the same time, it's like the Let's Go Brandon shirt here. There was a lot of deceit. Maybe if the conversation would have been the entire stadium was saying F Joe Biden, we could have had an honest conversation. Extremists come out of the woodwork and say, I hate this, that, and the other. The other side says, you be a hater because you think that. And you can all get it out. But no. They played it all off. Protecting and scrubbing information. And because it's so prevalent. And then Ange and I watched that interview. And nobody was stuttering. I mean, it was a normal conversation. There was moments, hey, I think I should, what should I say? I'm going to say, then say something. But boy, you should listen to your peers once. I mean, it was a decent conversation, if not kind of boring, pretty boring. But the incredible reaction made me think that, wow, they have a powerful spell that they've put over people. It's a hearts and minds spell, but I could see disagreeing with some of the items. I had my own when he started running his mouth about we should have our own Iron Dome, I mean, the Ducks and I strapped on the hat and said, ooh, just like Project Warp Speed, he'll do the bidding of the military industrial complex or the pharmacon industry. And then call it the greatest thing since sliced fucking bread. So, I'm not. I don't belong to no cult of personality. I just know that I don't want the alternative. I don't want cat boxes in the schools no more. If that makes me a piece of shit, then it makes me a piece of shit. But I don't want kids thinking that that's somehow fucking appropriate. There's no chance for a future if people think shitting in a cat box is somehow that's all straight living. No, it's too far. Right? It's I like the steaming hot dump on my chest thing. You, God, how could you? But I mean, you do you. All right? But you don't get a platform for it. It's not going on, America's Got Talent. And I've been a little frustrated, and today kind of broke me because my favorite coworker quit last night. One of our other bartenders, her last day was last weekend, so we're down staff like crazy. I might even start bartending, which puts me right back up into gone all the time. My new schedule gets me home a lot, so I should be able to keep working on we'll see what happens. We're not on me and my problems, but I definitely will bring them to the bar if they're real. Anybody who wants to talk, I will be willing to talk.
You address the war. You address freedom of speech that you guys are trying so hard to remove from everyone. When you address those same issues, or if you address those same issues, then your party platform would be about issues and not about Donald Trump. It is the weirdest thing to me, and then people fall for it. When I was reading the comments, I was like, I just listened to this whole thing, and I couldn't believe I did, but I did. I said, but you know why I listened to the whole thing? Because
okay, Ange crapped out a little sooner than me because honestly, it was long-winded and pretty. I mean, shit I talk about around the water cooler. You know what I'm saying. But I mean, there was no. Yeah, again, I just couldn't figure out what the hell people were saying. And then all kinds of people pointed out the audio issue, compression issue, slush, or whatever they call it. As someone who talks into a microphone and is like struggling with volumes right now, that shit's real. When Ange and I tried to get in, the DDoS whatever attack was going on. I mean, there was like 60 million fucking hits going on at once. And it was crazy. I understood. And then the next day, technical difficulties. Wait, like a huge cyber attack? Is that the technical difficulties where they literally can't choke out truth? Well, they could choke us out from the truth. I was thinking about that when I started. I was like, everybody bitch and complain. I saw someone put out a post about the whole interview or conversation. And we won't call it X. But I'm like, what's wrong? You can't unplug from your pervert agenda? Because rolling over to X marks the spot where I might find some truth. X is the variable in the equation of finding truth. Subjective truth, if not quantifiable truth. No, there's not. I'm going to go over there and check out what kind of expressions or. There's all kinds. They can't. It means something bad. Or it's just everybody's salty and everybody wants to be pissed off until they control all the speech. As a smoker, I get this. I've watched it. I unfortunately lived in Minnesota. I used to be proud of it. And now with this story and other stories that are going on, I don't ever have to be back. But the smoking, the start of the demonization of smoking, which, for health reasons, maybe that's good. I just found out about the connection between nicotine and my testosterone, so now I understand why my balls stay nice. Never mind. That's not your business. But I realized when they started demonizing cigarettes, what they really wanted to do was never take away high-end cigars from the elite smoking lounges with cognac and I don't know, conspiratorial meetings to control the world. That group was going to get to smoke, do adrenochrome, Cubans rolled on the inside of some, hot chick's thighs. Yeah, no, they were going to get all that, but us, chattel, we had to stop. They don't like seeing it. I don't like seeing anything that couldn't be detrimental to us. Unless it's their ideological dreams and ambitions come to a real life, on a street corner with torches and pitchforks. Gosh, they celebrate the shit out of that. But, anything they don't like, they don't want to see me do. I'm putting myself in that category. I'm pretty sure they just like to not see it. It's like language. They, on all edges of the extreme fringes, are gonna talk like idiots the rest of their lives. They just want you and me to not talk. But I haven't seen any proof that they got anything worth listening to. But everybody I talk to every day that I coexist with, work with, I'm around, they seem to matter a lot because I have to be around them every day. Now, weird, the same people who think they know better what should be said or what should be thought, I don't have to talk to them once. And oh my God, my favorite artist taught me a long time ago, you just change the fucking channel. I don't ever have to listen. When they shoot me these texts, I don't block it. I just erase it. Sometimes I send back, like, I know it doesn't get through, but it's just, for the universe. But I'm, F you, commie bastard, send. And I ain't got no problem with that. I like to know what's out there. I don't need it to be silenced. I want to know how I can ignore it.
Because he talked about things that were important to Americans. Democrats, start talking about things that are important to Americans and stop pandering. Stop saying...
Well, no, I mean, it's that huge minority or huge majority of people whose kids need cat boxes in the schools. Not to, I hate to, rip off the current events, but it's that huge majority population of people who, have uteruses but identify as men, so need their feminine products in the men's room. Or their what is it, open gash bleeding products? I forgot, it's not feminine, it's front hole bleeding time. I don't know. But the huge majority of people that aligns with. Not the virtue signaling fucks who think there's a majority, because obviously there's not. No, that's... I think it's skewed what passes for ideas right now. And I agree, because I listened to the whole thing just like this wonderful person. And I thought the energy... I thought the climate change despelling was important. His more beachfront property joke was a joke. 'Cause sorry, you still got the polar bears and the ice is what, thicker than ever? Come on. Yes, pollution affects climate, this, that, and the other. But your extinction event mob mentality that's destroy the beautiful things in the world, that's stupid. Get out of the fucking highway too.
That are important to Americans, and stop pandering. Stop saying you're going to give away something for free. And then address why you're giving everything to illegal immigrants. Talk about this illegal immigration. It's what I call the black replacement plan. And now I know everybody's like, they're replacing everybody. Yeah, that's true. But I'm going to tell you why it's so important to us. We're now only a little between 13 and 14%.
Now, I did watch a couple Chicago district like community meetings that went viral. And this is not a unique perspective here. It turns out it's affecting a lot of individuals. And I've already clarified I'm pro legal immigration. I wouldn't have a brother if that shit didn't exist. So, yay for, immigration and naturalization. Because he's as American as, you and me with, memories of being a Korean past. And he's still a Korean, don't get me wrong. Alan, I'm sorry if that came out shitty. I don't mean it that way. But I mean, you know what I mean. You were, fuck, how many sports did you let her in? It was a shit ton. It was, had it going on. And I'm all pro that. But there's some big issues, and it does not make you a bad person to talk about it. That is the most ridiculous play I've seen in my life from the mainstream media. They wore it out. Everything is not what the extreme left says it is. And it's certainly not the Bible-banging control system of the far right either. I think it's I got to go to work, come home, cut my grass, do this, do that, and man, I'd like to be able to unwind and be left the fuck alone. But every moment seems to have something pushed into your face. You fucking do this, accept this, do that. I think we hit the height of civilization, and people were so comfortable they didn't pay attention as it was stolen from them. And I think we hit that shit like 20 years ago.
13 and 14%.
Maybe 90, somewhere in 95.
Population. They say they brought in 20 million illegal immigrants. That's one of the numbers that I've heard. And, it's not confirmed, one of the numbers that I've heard, because of course they're not going to tell us how many for real. And they have no idea themselves. But when that happens, we're only over 40 million. So just think, they brought in adults, and mostly adult.
Yeah, there's the problem, isn't it? That it's the difference is, we talked about this at work today. That whatever triggering event the left has a wet dream of coming true so they can do their gun grab, that probably isn't going to work. But 6-8 kids start getting stabbed in, some rural country place, I'm guessing shit going to change, going to go off. And then if it would go off, how many resources do we have to, let's say, control LA, New York, Seattle, Minneapolis? Outside of those places, how many resources would it take to get that shit under control? What does the rest look like for the My Kid Shits in the Cat Box set? Do you think you'll be in the majority? I'm just curious what sort of fucking plan they have in store. What wet dream would they like to see come true where they think they can... Because I don't think what's happening in, say, like England, I don't see that as a viable option for here. And I'm trying to be hateful. I think it's realistic to say. I just don't think someone's going to kick it off to give anyone permission to come in, right? That's why I truly believe they're legalizing weed everywhere so they can backdoor anybody who's ready, like, bought weed in a, federally regulated facility will have to turn in any weapons. You won't be able to arm yourself because of that, weed psychosis and all. Well, they were in court like 3 weeks ago or something, I heard. I don't know enough details on that, so I let it go. But I'll let her finish. I think the audio was so quiet. I got to turn off my mic so it doesn't pick up all the background noise.
Are half of our population. Do you think that will not affect what they're going to do in our communities? Do you think that won't affect what's going to happen with schools in predominantly black communities, Hispanic communities? Do you think that will not affect us? So I say to you, instead of you jumping on and being the party of intimidation, being the party of constant hatred, why don't you start addressing issues just like Trump did? And one of the things that he said that I thought was so important is Elon said something about the CO2 levels in the world right now. And I was so glad because, you know, that climate change thing, that's another one of the firm's things. Donald Trump says, no, the most important thing that we're facing right now is nuclear, the nuclear capacity of countries all over the world. If I cannot bring anything else home to you, let me make you understand this. If we get into a nuclear war, racism, sexism, education, all of those things will not matter. We must have a president that can sit down with Vladimir Putin, with Kim Jong un, with Xi, all of these people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that. That's as wise a comment as could be made. You can't just because he ain't buddies with all them people. That's propaganda, right? But he is also this fucking he's got his big orange balls. He just going. He don't care. It's cut a deal. I'm pretty sure this is the same part of the conversation where the Iron Dome came up and renegotiating. I think a fighter jet getting a couple billion off. Because of course, toilet seats should cost $50,000 a throw. The fact that taxpayers let that shit go on and aren't, I'm grateful to be a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. I'm super grateful. Because I know bags of bolts don't cost $10,000 fucking dollars. But somehow the American people and their extreme arrogance won't question any of that shit, even though we know it's been true since the 70s or earlier, whenever they first outed that shit, right? The way the contracts and these inside jobs, everybody's getting their reach around. Come on. What the fuck is wrong with people that they don't question all that shit? Now, I'm probably preaching to the choir by 20 fucking 2 minutes into this bitch. And I don't mean that here. I mean, me running my mouth. Rolling over to X is complicated because I hadn't vented about all this shit in a while. And I'm definitely long enough in so I can curse a little bit. I think I think she makes very valid points. I'm sorry the volume was kind of low.
With whomever is over Iran right now, we must have someone that can sit down with them and stop this war that's about to turn into World War III. Yes, they make a lot of money. The firm makes a lot of money off of war, but guess what? We won't survive it, so it will not matter. So instead of you criticizing everything that Donald Trump does, give us your policies. Tell us what you're going to do. Tell me why I need to vote for Kamala that has nothing to do with her race. I couldn't care.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it, everybody? They don't have anything else than that. It's a magical moment where you can stick it to the system and elect your first POC woman. But I would have to go back a couple minutes to my own ranting and raving. And I thought we couldn't even define what a woman was anymore. Because somehow that makes you a bigot or a fucking whatever's. J.K. Rowling a fan, I guess. I am. Yeah, no, I guess I'm a... I don't care about in secret, but yeah, I'm probably turf, and I probably side with the turf argument. I think it takes away from the legitimate people who struggled for sexual identity for a long time, and just because there's a whole subset of men who really love dressing up in women's clothes doesn't make right. Yeah, no, I don't feel pretty in pantyhose. So it ain't my kink. I'm cool. I don't have to worry about it. But I get what it is, right? It's just a subset fetish, you know. It's really not that complicated. And then there's, um, health issues, mental wellness issues that are really being left unchecked. And it's not all things are the same and all are good. There's definitely nuance to this conversation. And I got nothing. You do whatever you want. Right? You go bang whoever you want, munch on whatever parts you want. Running the world and using it as the main conversation point every day, day in and day out, I am hard pressed to find anybody who thinks that's cool, who is enjoying it or wants it to keep going on, and you're just not going to convert the entire world to fetish thinking. Right? That's why it's a weird desire you don't know where it came from. I don't know why your ankles are hot, but man, they are. I don't know where that came from. You look at it like, why wasn't I just a boob guy? Why don't I like? Why don't I don't like that big ass thing. I don't even get that. To me, that's whole repulsive. But I'm not stupid enough to not know that dudes like the big ass booty. Baby got back.
Why I need to vote for Kamala that has nothing to do with her race. I couldn't care less about her race or her gender if my whole country, the entire world, no longer exists. That's what we're looking for. Talk to us about policies, and then we'll listen.
They can't. I don't think on that either because they're. I believe they're 100% in on having the conflict take place. Because we were going through it long enough already. There's no hearts and minds path to figuring that shit out. They don't have public support. Outside of extremist fringe or virtue signaling icon placement, I haven't heard a single conversation about conflict once where I work. Like normal people don't talk about that. I know. I'm sure you could get it to come up, but it doesn't. There are times when the current events are on the tip of everyone's tongue. And right now, I think there's so much deceit that people don't even know what to believe, so they're tuning it all out, which is going to make them even more dangerous when they get backed completely into the corner. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? That was poor sound, but I do I do think she made incredibly valid points, even though they were hard to hear. Later.